Close your eyes for a second and imagine the sound of a sold-out arena holding its breath. Not cheering. Not booing. Just waiting. That split second right before reality crashes into expectation. That was the moment Anthony Joshua chose to remind the world who he really is. This was not supposed to look like this. At least not if you believed the noise. Not if you listened to the clips, the podcasts, the endless social media bravado. Jake Paul had spent months talking himself into history, talking fans into believing that the impossible was just one viral moment away. But boxing has a cruel way of cutting through illusion, and on this night, it did not whisper the truth. It screamed it. Welcome to celebrity rap life, where the red carpets never roll up and the spotlight never fades. The rewards are legendary. Because in celebrity rap life, every downfall can become a comeback, and every headline tells a deeper story. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next. Anthony Joshua did not come to entertain debate. He did not come to play along with the spectacle. He came to end a conversation. And when he dropped Jake Paul flat on his back, staring up at lights that suddenly felt too bright and too far away, the world collectively realized this was never a fairy tale. It was a reality check delivered with terrifying precision. This was not just a knockout. It was a statement carved in bone and muscle. A reminder that there are levels to this game that cannot be skipped, bought, or manifested through confidence alone. Joshua did not celebrate immediately because there was nothing to celebrate. In his mind, this was inevitable. This was gravity doing what gravity always does. The build-up had been chaotic, loud, and impossible to ignore. Jake Paul did what Jake Paul always does. He talked. He taunted. He sold the dream that youth, ambition, and disruption could overpower experience forged through championship rounds and championship losses. He painted Anthony Joshua as a man past his moment, a former king clinging to relevance after being humbled by Alexander Usyk. He framed the fight as a passing of the torch that he had already decided belonged to him. The internet ate it up. Clips circulated. Debates exploded. Influencer boxing fans flooded comment sections with belief, not doubt. Traditional boxing fans shook their heads, some amused, some irritated, most convinced they were about to watch a controlled demolition. The tension came from the uncertainty of spectacle. Not who should win, but how ugly it might get. By the time fight night arrived, the air felt heavy. Not festive. Heavy. The kind of atmosphere that settles in when something irreversible is about to happen. Joshua walked to the ring with a quiet focus that felt different. No forced smiles. No exaggerated bravado. Just intent. Jake Paul followed with confidence, feeding off the noise, feeding off belief, feeding off the idea that chaos favors the bold. From the opening bell, the difference was visible to anyone who understood boxing beyond highlight reels. Joshua moved with patience. Not rushed. Not reckless. His guard tight, his feet balanced, his eyes locked in. He wasn't hunting wildly. He was reading. Jake came forward with energy, throwing combinations that had worked before, punches that looked sharp against opponents who lacked Joshua's size, timing, and composure. But here, those punches met gloves. Air. Space. Joshua let him work. Let him spend energy. Let him believe, just for a moment, that he was doing something meaningful. The first round passed like a warning shot. No damage. No drama. Just control. By the second round, the tone shifted. Joshua's jab started finding its home, snapping Jake's head back just enough to register. Not devastating yet, but unsettling. This was not the power Jake was used to. This was different. Heavy. Educated. Each connection carried weight and intention. You could see it in Jake's eyes. The realization that effort was not translating into advantage. That this man in front of him was calm because he knew something Jake didn't. Then came the third round, the moment where patience turned into punishment. Joshua stepped forward with purpose. No wasted movement. He began cutting off the ring, closing space intelligently, removing escape routes before Jake even realized they were gone. Jake's footwork grew frantic. His punches widened. The confidence started leaking out through small mistakes, tiny openings that only elite fighters know how to exploit. And then it happened. Joshua feinted the jab. Jake reacted instinctively, dropping his right hand just a fraction too low, just a fraction too long. That fraction was enough. The right hand came like a thunderclap, clean and unforgiving, landing flush on the chin with a sound that cut through the arena like a gunshot. Jake Paul's legs betrayed him instantly. His body collapsed before his mind could catch up. He fell hard, hitting the canvas in a way that silenced everything. No cheers. No gasps. Just shock. For a moment, time slowed. Jake tried to rise, pride pushing him upward even as his body refused to cooperate. His legs wobbled, his eyes unfocused, his balance gone. The referee did not hesitate. He did not need to. This was over. Anthony Joshua stood quietly in the corner. No roar. No taunt. Just the calm presence of a man who had completed a task. The crowd erupted seconds later, once reality settled in. The experiment was finished. The debate was dead. Social media exploded within minutes. Clips flooded timelines. Reactions ranged from celebration to disbelief to denial. Some pretended they never believed. Others scrambled for excuses. But the truth was unavoidable. A real heavyweight champion had done what real heavyweight champions do when illusion steps into their world. Joshua had not just won. He had erased doubt. And while Jake Paul was left to process the most brutal lesson of his career, Anthony Joshua moved on without hesitation. Because for him, the night was not finished. While most fighters disappear after a knockout victory, retreating into recovery and silence, word began spreading that Joshua was heading somewhere else entirely. Miami. Club Live. Celebration. DJ Khaled had entered the picture, and when those two worlds collided, the outcome was inevitable. Club Live was already electric before they arrived, but the moment Anthony Joshua stepped inside, the energy shifted. Cameras flashed. Phones rose into the air. People pressed closer, desperate to be part of the moment. Joshua looked untouched, unmarked, like a man who had just finished a light workout instead of a prize fight. DJ Khaled was in his element, shouting, smiling, embracing the moment like only he can. Victory, success, dominance. These are languages he speaks fluently, and Anthony Joshua had just delivered a story tailor-made for celebration. Inside the club, the night turned surreal. Champagne bottles popped endlessly. Music thundered. Every few minutes Khaled grabbed the mic, reminding everyone exactly who was in the building and what they had just witnessed hours earlier. A real knockout. A real champion. A real reminder. Joshua moved through the crowd with calm confidence, acknowledging respect without soaking in ego. Celebrities, models, athletes, and industry figures surrounded him, all wanting proximity to greatness while the moment was still fresh. Videos spread instantly. Anthony Joshua laughing. Anthony Joshua dancing. Anthony Joshua victorious in a completely different arena. What made the night special was not excess, but contrast. Violence and precision in the ring followed by joy and release outside of it. Two worlds connected by one defining performance. DJ Khaled and Joshua shared stories, laughter, reflections on preparation and belief. Not a forced interaction, but a genuine meeting of success and respect. As the hours passed, the club remained alive. The celebration did not fade. It intensified. Miami did what Miami does, and Joshua stood at the center of it, not as a novelty, but as a king who had earned every second of the spotlight. Somewhere else in the city, Jake Paul was left with silence. No music. No cheers. Just questions. Questions about limits. About ambition. About the cost of believing your own hype for too long. By the time the sun began to rise over Miami Beach, the story was complete. Anthony Joshua had delivered one of the most decisive knockouts of the modern spectacle era and followed it with a celebration that reminded everyone he is more than a fighter. He is an event. A presence. A force that still commands respect. This was not about humiliation. It was about truth. Boxing does not care about followers or confidence alone. It rewards preparation, discipline, and experience. On this night, Anthony Joshua embodied all three. One punch ended the illusion. One night reminded the world. And as champagne spilled and music echoed into the morning, Anthony Joshua stood tall, still dangerous, still relevant, still capable of changing lives with a single, perfectly timed right hand. This story is far from over, and the truth is still unfolding. I want to hear what you think. Drop your take in the comments. And if you don't want to miss the next twist, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next.